Hi guys, it's Alex here. This vlog today I'm really excited about because it really sums up the work that I do with people and the message that I try to get through to people. And it's really helpful if we can understand what I'm about to talk about, we can really have a breakthrough. So, what I'm talking about is really shifting our goalposts, okay? So, usually when people come to see me, they have a goal of feeling happier, right? Feeling better, not feeling so bad anymore, right? And of course, that's a great goal to have. We all want to feel better, we all want to be happy. But I'm going to suggest to you that maybe that's not actually the best goal because we can't be happy all the time. And actually, feeling distress is sometimes very valid and very helpful, right? Unpleasant emotions are actually trying to help us. They do a really, really important job and we need them. If you saw that movie Inside Out, you know, that really illustrates how unpleasant emotions like fear and sadness are actually really trying to help us. They're really, really important. So we actually don't want to get rid of them, and we can't anyways, right? So instead of focusing on, okay, I want to be happier, what if our goal was actually to increase our tolerance to sitting with unpleasant emotions? Okay. And this is the work that I do with people. It's about saying, all right, unpleasant emotions are going to show up, and they're going to show up pretty often, actually. Like we're designed to feel bad a good part of the time. The problem is that the world kind of teaches us from very, very early on that feeling bad is bad. Right? So if I'm feeling bad, something's wrong, or I'm doing something wrong, or there's something wrong with me, and I need to fix it and be happy, like we think everybody else is, right? But it's not possible. We actually need to feel bad. And sometimes we want to look at those unpleasant emotions and say, are they trying to help me? And maybe I should just get out of the way and let them do their job rather than fighting with them, trying to fix them, trying to get rid of them, right? So instead of trying to get rid of feeling bad, what if our goal was to be able to ride out times of distress without feeling overwhelmed, freaked out, and without having to avoid it? Okay. So a lot of what I talk to people about is that it's not the distress that's the problem. Okay, it's actually our avoidance of distress and our attempts to get away from distress that cause most of our problems. Actually, probably all of our problems, right? So, if you think about, emotions, what can they do to us? Well, they're just felt experiences, right? They come and they go, and sometimes they're super intense and they make our bodies, feel very physically uncomfortable. But beyond that, they can't really do anything to us. I always say to my clients, like, fear doesn't have a body, right? Like, it can't walk up and like punch you in the face, right? It doesn't have a physical form. It's a felt experience. And the most it can do is make us feel very uncomfortable. But when we experience particularly very high distress, we start to fear it, right? We start to think, I can't handle this. I can't sit with this. If I don't get rid of this, something terrible is going to happen. It's going to overwhelm me, or it's going to kill me, or something like that, right? And that's a false belief, but it's a very powerful one. So if I'm believing that feeling bad is powerful and scary and dangerous, then I have to do things to avoid it. And sometimes those things are really dramatic and drastic for people, right? Like self-harm, like drug and alcohol abuse. Suicide is the ultimate avoidance, right? And in that place, when people are having those thoughts and those urges, they're in an incredible amount of pain and they don't believe it's ever going to get better. So they want an out. It makes sense, right? But the tragedy is that it's based on that false belief. So we need to change our thinking. We need to change our relationship with distress so that it's not so big and scary. What if I could sit with even really intense pain or fear, and it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to make my body feel really uncomfortable. But what if I could sit with that without having to find a way to always get away from it? And every time we do that, every time we ride out a wave of distress and we allow ourselves to feel it and we don't avoid it, our tolerance to distress actually goes up, right? So we get better and better and more confident at being able to ride out strong emotions. This leads to that really lovely long-term resilience, try and speak, long-term resilience, which I think is the better goal, right? That rather than the goal of like being happy, what if my goal is to have really good emotional resilience so that I can ride out whatever life is throwing at me? It's still going to be sad and scary. We're still going to feel all those things, but we're not going to have to avoid it and cause all the multitude of problems that go with that. Plus, avoidance stops working at a certain point, right? Like those emotions have to be felt at some point. We feel them now and we ride them out, or we avoid them. We'll feel them later. They'll probably be more intense. So, this goal of increasing distress tolerance is really the work that I do with people. And it's just shifting that mindset away from, finding something to fix me and get rid of how I'm feeling. Instead, how do I sit with these feelings? How do I ride out these waves of distress and not feel totally freaked out by them? Okay. So, if you want to know more, get in touch with me. You can chat with me on my website or, through my socials. I hope you're all having a really wonderful day. Bye.